And here's page 3. We have this story problem. 3 squirrels and 5 chipmunks cost $35. This is silly, huh? And 4 squirrels and 7 chipmunks were $48. How much for 1 squirrel? I'm using X for the cost of 1 squirrel, Y for the cost of 1 chipmunk. That means my system of equations will look like this. I'll not move down here. 3X, 3 squirrels, and 5 chipmunks, 5Y, $35. And then 4 squirrels, 4X, plus 7 chipmunks, 7Y, was $48. And I could get opposites here, or I could get opposites here. Since it's asking for the number of squirrels, since I'd like to solve this for X first, and then I could be done, let me eliminate the Y column. Let me get opposites in the Y column. If I do 7 times this and negative 5 times that, I'll get a 35 and a negative 35 in front of the Y. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 7 times everything in this top equation. That means 21X, and then 7 times 5, that's 35Y. And 7 times the 35, 7 times 35 is 245. Now, negative 5 times the bottom equation, it'll give me negative 20x and negative 35y. Here's the opposites that I want. And negative 5 times negative 5 times 48, that'll be negative 240. And I think I'm done, because look what happens. 21 and negative 20 add up to 1, so there's 1x. 1x is the cost of 1 squirrel. That's what we need. The y's disappear. 245 and negative 240 gives me 5. So what does this mean? $5 for 1 squirrel. $5 for 1 squirrel. Or you can go to the park and catch one for free. That's hard to do. Number 20, we want to draw the graph of y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. So I'll go over here. The plus 3 at the end means we start at 3. And the slope of negative 1/2, negative slopes mean the line goes downhill. So the next point should be, down and to the right, and it's down 1 over 2. So just do that a few times, down 1 over 2, or go up 1 and to the left 2, and then connect the points. And that's all you need for question 20. Okay, remember slope tells you how to go to other points. Y-intercept tells you what's the Y value, where you go through the Y-axis. 21, this is a classic question. You're given 2 points. You want the equation of the line. So how do we start? Find the slope. Now I'm going to do negative 2 take away 10. On the top, there's my change in Y. On the top, 5 take away, notice the sign, take away negative 1 on the bottom. We get negative 12 over positive 6, and we can reduce that to negative 2. And I can now write a partial credit answer, y equals negative 2x plus b. To get full credit, I need to solve for b and write the whole equation with the number there instead. So I'm going to use the first pair of numbers. The 5 is the x value, the negative 2 is the y value. So I put a negative 2 there, equals the slope negative 2 times 5 plus b. And that makes a negative 10. And now we would add 10 to both sides. If we add 10 to the left side, we get 8. If If we add 10 to the right side, that kills the minus 10, and we get the b. There's the y-intercepts y value. That means our complete answer is this: y equals negative 2x plus positive 8. Okay, and if you want to check that, very easy. Plug in a 5 for x, and the equation will give you back negative 2 for y. And also, if you plug in negative 1 for x, the equation will give you a positive 10 for y. If both don't work, then something else is wrong, and do it over. And here's the newest thing. This is from lesson number 58. I guess that was Thursday last week. Divide this by that. So here's what you do. The thing you're dividing by goes outside in that whole division bracket, and then what you're dividing into goes under. And we make sure everything's in the correct order by exponent. Make sure there's no powers missing, and there were none missing here. Then we say, what do you multiply this by to get this? The thing furthest to the left to get the thing furthest to the left. You would multiply x by 3x. And now everything over here gets multiplied by what we just wrote. 3x times x, 3x squared. 3x times minus 4, minus 12x. And we're going to subtract by adding the opposite. We haven't done any oppositing yet, so now we're about to change these to the opposite. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. And then we add the columns, and those cancel. And they get 7x plus 11. I start over again. I think, what do I multiply x by to get 7x? That would be a positive 7, so I write plus 7. It's not good to just write 7. You need plus 7. And 7 times x, 7x, and 7 times minus 4, minus 28. And don't get excited and add those and get negative 17. That would be incorrect. You haven't changed the sign yet. You got it. We're really subtracting. It's really 7x take away 7x. It's really 11 take away negative 28. But the easy, safe way is change to the opposite. So that becomes negative. That becomes positive. And you get 39 over here. And what's that? That's our remainder. Okay? And if you want to check it, multiply x minus 4 times 3x plus 7, and then add 39, and you should get back exactly 3x squared minus 5x plus 11. 23. Find the area in terms of x of a rectangle with length 5x plus 4 and width x plus 7. So if I draw a picture of that, just to help the thought process, let's say here's the length, 5x minus 4, and the width is, let me write it sideways, x plus 7. How do we usually get the area of a rectangle? We just multiply the numbers together. Now here we can just say, well, you don't have to multiply numbers. You don't have numbers, but you do have algebraic expressions. So there's the area. And if you want to multiply this out and be really super efficient, you get 5x squared, and then you get minus 4x plus 35x, giving you a total of 31x in the middle, and minus 28 at the end. Okay? So that's what that multiplies out to. But the important thing is this. This is a good enough answer right here. This is even a little bit better. Okay, length times width. And for 24, it's the same rectangle, isn't it? Length 5x minus 4, width x plus 7. This time we want an expression in terms of x for the perimeter. Perimeter in general is 2 times the length plus width. Oh, now if we use this same idea with these expressions that we have, because we don't have numbers, I'll say 2 times the length, 5x minus 4, plus the width, x plus 7. And you get a point off for not simplifying this. This is begging to be simplified, at least a little bit. So inside here, 5x plus x, that's 6x, and the minus 4 plus 7, that's plus 3. That's pretty good. That's pretty much far enough, but if you want to be a really nice person, remove the parentheses here, 12x plus 6. Okay, because now if somebody knows x, all they have to do is times by 12 and add 6 and they get the perimeter. Back here they got to do more steps, right? Number 25, draw the graph of y is less than negative a half x plus 3. So we're going to do 25 up here. Negative a half x plus 3 has a y-intercept of plus 3. And a slope of negative 1/2, so we go down 1 over 2. Now this was an inequality. Should I make a solid line or a dotted line? Let's look at it again. It says y is strictly less than blah, blah, blah. So when it's strictly less than, we want to make a dashed line. See, the next one, we're going to make a solid line because it says could be equal to. This one has to be a dashed line, and since it's in the form y all by itself on one side, and since it says y less than, we can be sure we shade below. We don't have to plug in any test point like we will in problem 26, but this is our graph for 25. Okay, shade below because it's in slope-intercept form and it says y less than. If it said y greater than, we would be shading the other side. If it said less than or equal to, we would be making a solid line. And finally, 26. Oh, if I plug in 0 for x and solve for y, pretending this is an equal sign for a moment, plug in 0 for x, 15 divided by negative 5, that's negative 3. Plug in 0 for y, and the y part's gone. 15 divided by 3, positive 5. So there's the y-intercept, there's the x-intercept. 0, negative 3, y-intercept, 5, 0, x-intercept. It says can be equal to, so that means the points on the line are part of the solution, and that means I use a solid line here. Okay, now do I shade up here or down here? I don't know yet. You can't assume anything because of this direction. What you want to do is plug in a point from up here or from down there and see if it works. And the easiest point to plug in is 0, 0. As long as your line doesn't go through 0, 0, it's available for use. If I plug in 0, 0, do I get a true statement? 0 minus 0 would be 0. Is 0 equal to 15? No. Is 0 more than 15? Also, no. So 0, 0 is on the non-solution side. All the solutions are here. This is where we indicate solutions with some shading like that. That's it. Have a good exam experience, and remember, tomorrow, new lesson on Tuesday. Take care.